To record. Okay, I'm just starting the recording now. All right. So, yeah, so mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and we also have the mode of ignorance, tamo guna. So these three gunas are always turning. And these three gunas are all over this material creation, in everything. From every aspect of creation, from every aspect of activity, from every aspect of thinking process, it's all influenced by these three modes, right? So what is these three modes? A bit more we can understand about this sattva, raja, and guna. So basically, sattva means, balance, harmony, positivity, peace, clarity. So this is sattvic qualities. What is Rajasic qualities? Mode of passion, movement, activity, energy, excitement, passion, right? These are all Rajasic qualities. And then Tamasic quality is inertia. That means, don't want to move, don't want to change. Inactivity, negativity, apathy, the dullness, so laziness, sleep. So Sattva is enlightenment or knowledge. Tamas is ignorance. And in between there is Rajas. So these three things are always turning, like everybody, like for example, sometimes we may feel peaceful, sometimes we may feel, angry, passionate, sometimes we may feel lazy. So these things are always fighting for supremacy within our consciousness. So everybody is born according to a certain state. Some people may be more sattvic in certain things. Some people may be more rajasic in certain things, right? Some people may be more tamasic. So how do we know? So these things will be clearly discussed in chapters 13, 14, 17, and 18. So we won't go into detail now. So here Krishna is just introducing only. Okay. So he says, according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. So Krishna is saying, I am beyond these things. I am beyond the three modes. I am beyond the four Varnas. So what am I talking about? Okay, let me talk about the four Varnas. So Krishna is saying, right, according to the three modes, which is the Sattva, Guna, and Tama, the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, I mentioned, right, that every aspect of this universe is influenced by these three modes, and every activity is also influenced by these three modes. So in this way, human society is also divided into four divisions, which is influenced by these three modes. So what are these four divisions? This four division is called Chatur Varna. So you see here, Chatur Varnyam, Maya Shrishtam. So Chatur means four, Varnyam means Varna. Basically, Varna means colors, but he's using that to refer to the system of human society. So what is this human society? Now, we can ask this. This is called Varnashrama. You might have heard this term, but enough of Sanskrit terms. Let's understand what is this four divisions of society. So to understand this, we can ask this question. Are we all the same? So we can think about it, right? Some of us will say, yes, we are all the same. And some of us will say, no, we are all not the same, right? So which is it? Some will say neither, some will say either. So is it all true? Now, if we look at our lives, right, even in modern society also, we find that there are always divisions, right? We will have a group of people who are like the CEOs, and then we will have heads of departments, and then we will have executives, and then we'll have services, isn't it? You all agree that this is basically the hierarchy in modern society, based on working society and all that. So basically what it means here is there are some people who make decisions. So these are like the CEOs, ministers, religious heads. So they make decisions because of what they know. They know certain things, and because of their knowledge, or because of their experience, or because of their understanding, or because of their vision, their capability to be visionary, they make important decisions which will presumably guide people into the right direction. At least that's what ideally it should be. And then we have a group of people who are like the people who are managing. So the visionary, and then we have the managers. So the managers are those who ensure that the vision of these people is met by planning, by having various ways and plans how to control society so that these visions of society are met for the benefit of the entire company, right? If the entire company benefits, everybody benefits, presumably. At least that's in the modern world. And then we also have another set of people who are like the executives, who go about doing the things, right? Generating the income, getting the systems working and all that. And finally, we have the services right at the bottom, who are supporting the executives, who are actually doing the nitty-gritty work to ensure the whole thing is working perfectly. Okay. So this thing is nothing new. It's not that we are doing it now only. Actually, if you look at history, this system has been there throughout the ages. Like if you look at feudalism during the European times, right? They will have kings and queens, they will have nobles, then they will have knights, and then they will have peasants. So basically, you can, even in the church also, they will have this kind of hierarchy. Even in the feudals, if you say that this is only Western, actually it's also there in the East. Feudal system in Japan, also emperor, right? And then we have the shogun, the kshatriyas, the warriors, and the samurai, the generals and the samurais. And then they have the peasants and the artisans. Then they are the merchants. So like that, it goes. Classes of society has always been there. Even in Egypt, you can see classes of society is there. So like this, there was always class of society. So it's not something which can be artificially destroyed. So it's not possible to have a classless society. Even if we have a classless society, right, people will fall into their role. It's just that it's not recognized as such. So to answer the question, are we all different? So this is the answer. We are not all the same. So those people who agree, we are not all the same, but we are all equal. So this is the answer. So we are not the same because we all have different capabilities. We all have different inclinations. Some people may be more, visualistic. They are more broad-minded in a way of doing things. Some people are very good at managing things, right? Some people are very good at executing the work, profit-driven, right? So it's a matter of motivation. So therefore, we are all not born the same because of the three modes. Some people are born with the more predominantly mode of goodness, right? Some people are born more with the predominant mode of passion. Some people are very passionate, right? They are like that. So you cannot change them. It's like that. According to their karma, they are born in this way. We are all different, but at the same time, we are all equal because we are all living, not because we are all humans, because that is narrow vision, because we are all spirit souls. So that is the reason we are all equal. Remember in the chapter 2, spirit soul, the quality is the same. In terms of quality, ultimately, we are all part and parcel of God, just like the gold mine and the gold particle. We are one gold particle. Can we say the gold particle in the toilet? Therefore, if let's say your gold ring falls into the toilet, will people not take the gold ring back, somehow try to take it out? They will try, isn't it? They won't say, oh, this gold ring is in the toilet. We will not. Gold is gold, whether it's in the toilet or whether it's in anywhere, even if it's in the rubbish dump, people will take it. So therefore, spirit soul is also like that. So even spirit soul trapped in an animal body or in a mode of ignorance body or in a mode of passion type of body, or in a mode of goodness type of body, we are all equal in terms of quality. We are all children of God. And Krishna will mention that later also in another later verses. So therefore, Krishna is saying he established this class of society. So, and when he established this right in Vedic times, 5,000, actually is there many thousands of years ago, and even up to 5,000 years ago, this society was there. So what is this society? This society is headed by the Brahmanas, right? The learned Brahmanas. And then there's the Kshatriyas, the warriors and the kings. And then the Vaishyas, the merchants and the landowners. And then the Shudras, the commoners, peasants, artisans, and servants. So like that, these were the classes of society. And this class of society, the Brahmana and the Kshatriyas, the Brahmanas is predominantly the mode of, the Brahmana means the mode of goodness. So Brahmanas will not deal with activities which are of the mode of passion. They will dedicate their lives towards the pursuit of knowledge, towards the pursuit, and they will understand because they have dedicated their lives in the pursuit of knowledge, because they have dedicated their lives in simplicity, and in harmony and in balance. So therefore, they are able to understand the higher goal of human life. And because of these, they are able to advise. They are able to advise the other classes of society. So that was the Brahmana's position. Then we have the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas, they are very much passionate. Their body and their built up is mode of passion, right? But although they are mode of passion, they are also mixed with the mode of goodness. So the Brahmanas are only in the mode of goodness, whereas the Kshatriyas are mixed with the mode of passion and mixed with the mode of goodness. So both. So the Kshatriya, you see here, there is passion and goodness mixed. The yellow color here is mode of goodness. The red color line is the mode of passion. So the Kshatriyas fall into both. They are very passionate because you need a passionate person to execute, to manage, to execute. You know, if you put a Brahmana to manage, to execute, they can do it, but they don't want to because then it will pollute their consciousness. So therefore, the work was separated. Nowadays, that's not happening. But anyway, that was what was done previously. The work was separated so that the consciousness will not get polluted. So the Kshatriyas will manage and they will protect. The purpose of the Kshatriya is to protect and uphold, right? And they will fight to protect. And why they are in the mode of goodness, the Kshatriya? Because the Kshatriyas were completely obedient to the Brahmanas. They will act, even those days, the saintly kings, they will act on the advice of the Brahmana ministers. So that's why the Kshatriya is still, their vision, although they are passionate, but their vision is always to protect Dharma. So therefore, they mixed with mode of goodness. And then there will be the Vaishyas. Now, Vaishyas, they are in the mode of passion and in the mode of ignorance mixed. So the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance. Why this is called mode of passion? Because they do not understand. The Vaishyas are like the profiting people, like basically the merchants and the landowners at that time. Their duty is to only make sure that these things are taken care of, and predominantly is to take care of cows. So these were the Vaishyas. And they didn't have enough time to, their type of makeup wasn't so much into understanding the scriptures. So they left that to the Brahmanas to guide them. Okay. So therefore, in terms of knowledge, so Brahmana is the highest, and like that, Vaishya. And finally, Shudras. The Shudras are the rest of the population which need to be managed. Because if they are not managed, they are like children, right? So it's not that children are lower or anything like that. It's just that they need to be managed because they don't understand what is good for them. They don't understand what is the goal of things. So therefore, the Brahmanas will manage all this, and through this class of society. And in this way, society was peaceful. And not only it was peaceful, it was able to concentrate its goal and its energy. The human society's energy was concentrated. You can see here, this is a triangle. So why is it a triangle? Because the concentration of this human society is towards liberation, is to ensure that everybody within this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, they are all able to go beyond birth and death. So to attain liberation, one doesn't have to be Brahmana. One can be Kshatriya, one can be Vaishya, one can be Shudra. Simply by serving the goal of life, one can get liberated and go beyond the cycle of birth and death. So that was the setup which was created by the Supreme Lord, so that human society can progressively go enter into transcendence. So of course, in Kali Yuga, all this is no longer working. Everything has been destroyed and everything has been corrupted. Because if you see this verse, right? Chatur Varnyam Maya Shristam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. How do we understand who is a Brahmana, who is a Kshatriya and everything? So it is not based on birth, because nowadays the caste system, which is a perversion and a corruption of this Varnashram system, which is what is called caste system now, it is actually decided based on birth. So where does it say here based on birth? It doesn't say Janma Karma Vibhagashaha, right? Chaturvarnyam Maya Shristam, not Janma Karma. Janma means birth. Instead, it says Guna Karma Vibhagasa. So that means these four classes of society is not decided based on birth, but it's decided based on guna, nature. What is the nature of that person? And it's also decided based on karma. What is the activity that person is doing? So it is both two things: nature of that person, the psychological makeup of that person, and the type of activity that that person is inclined to do. So accordingly, he is classified in the society, and they are happy to do it. Because if one has a certain nature, that person is not going to be happy to do something which is against that nature, contrary to that nature. So for example, someone may like to draw, someone may like to paint, someone may like to do, this kind of activities. If you ask them to do mathematics, maybe they will not be very happy about it, isn't it? So people are born different. So in those days, this was how society was understood. So going now back to this point. So, and another way to understand this the four varnas, right? Krishna says, he gives himself as the example. He takes his own body. He says, the Brahmanas are like my head. So the Brahmana is like the head. The chest and the arms are like the Kshatriyas, the warriors, because that's where the power is, right? The arms. And then the Vaishya is like the stomach. And the Shudra is like the legs and the feet. So we can understand this also in if we take our human body, right? So we can live without the arm, we can live without the legs, but we cannot live without the head, isn't it? So the head is very important because it not only we cannot live without it, but it gives us vision. It's on the head only that we are able to see, and with the head only we are able to discriminate. We discriminate means to understand what is right, what is wrong, what is correct, what is not correct, what should be done, what should not be done, right? So this power of discrimination is there based on the head. And at the same time, it is with our head only we can understand what is purity and what is not, and to make sure that we are pure. So therefore, this is the role of the Brahmana. He represents the head, and therefore his role is to give vision to society, is to understand what society should do and what society should not do, and to ensure that this vision and discrimination is not perverted. He ensures that he maintains his purity. So the Brahmana is always very poor. He never receives a salary. He will always advise the king, but he will never receive any salary. He will only accept charity. And then he will give away whatever that he doesn't want. He will make sure that he only takes what he absolutely needs, and he gives the rest in charity. So that was ideal Brahminical society. Even now we have people like that also. people who like to do service without any kind of remuneration, right? There are some doctors who will just give free service. So like that is the ideal. So that's the head, right? Important for that. And the arm and the upper body is where the power lies, the power in a person. For the power, the person is using that power. So the Kshatriya's role here is ability. The hand has the ability, and he has an execution power for him to get something done. With the hand, he is able to also protect, shelter, give shelter. Because this vision, discrimination, and purity needs to be protected. Otherwise, somebody else will come and then the vision will be distorted, discrimination will be gone, purity will be lost. So the role of the Kshatriya is to do this. Not only to protect this, to execute the order of the head, the arms will work according to the head's instruction, right? And according to his capability, the ability is there. But all of these, the head and the arm and the leg, cannot work unless the Vaishya is there to support, right? So how does the Vaishya? The Vaishya is like the stomach. Now, if the body doesn't eat food, now where does the food come? The food is not given directly to the stomach, isn't it? The food goes through the head. So glory is given to the head. The Brahmana, therefore, is the highest position. So it's through the head. The stomach cannot say, I don't like the head. It's after I am the one who's producing everything. So let the food go directly into the stomach. Can we put a pipe and put the stomach and give the food directly to the stomach like that? So that's not the correct way, right? So therefore, it works. The idea here is it all works in concert. It all works perfectly in harmony. It's not that one is less important than the other. They all have their purposes, right? But naturally, the head is the higher thing, right? But everything is equal. We cannot say, oh, the head only is important, therefore I'll cut off my hand. Or therefore I will disregard the hand. Or I'll disrespect my arms. I will not take care of my arms. Or I will not take care of my legs, right? So that's not how we work. Everything is taken care of. But we understand which is priority, right? So therefore, Vaishya, his purpose is to give nourishment and to the entire setup of society and produce wealth. To support that society, we have the feet, Shudra. And Shudra's purpose is to support in every other activity to serve the other three classes and to provide mobility. So this is the understanding of that verse, Chatur Varnyam, right? So not to mistake it for the perverted caste system. So therefore, by these three modes of nature, the Sattva, Tamas, and Raja. Now, Sattva may be the mode of goodness, but it is still material. Why it is still material? Because this is not necessarily spiritual, but it means one is more peaceful, one is more calm, one is more interested in knowledge, but that doesn't mean spiritual knowledge necessarily, right? So therefore, it is still material. Now, these three things are like ropes which are tying us down within this material world. And according to our karma, we get different lives, and these different modes are always turning around us, and we feel that we are drowning in this material ocean of samsara, or the ocean of repeated birth and death. So that's what's happening. So how to get out? So therefore, Krishna is giving the instruction in the verse 434, Bhagavad Gita. He says, it begins by Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Now, if we are drowning in the ocean, we need to understand our position and we need to call out for assistance, right? So then the hand will come and help. So therefore, Krishna is telling here, the translation, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, right? Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So Jnaninas Tattva Darshinaha. Jnaninas means one who has knowledge because they are self-realized. Why? Because Tattva Darshinaha. They have seen the truth. Darshina means to have seen it. So we need to, this is the type of people we should accept as the spiritual master. And earlier it was also further reinforced by the earlier verse that such a person has to come through the parampara. He has to have a parampara, a bona fide parampara coming, which is recognized by scripture, by Shastra. Shastra has to verify it. One cannot manufacture one's own religion. One cannot just one day get up in the morning and say, today I will start a new religion, a new age religion, and then I will have a philosophy and then I'll get people to do it. It doesn't work that way because Dharma is God-made. Human laws are imperfect, whereas God laws are perfect. So it has to come down through this way. So what does the Guru do? When we receive knowledge like this and when we accept the Guru, right? Now we are this soul, we are being tossed in this ocean. These waves of this ocean is described like the three modes of material nature. It is tossing us. One day Sattva is pushing, another day Rajas, mode of passion, is tossing us, another day mode of ignorance is tossing us. So like that we are being tossed and tossed and tossed, right? And on top of that we have the three Adi Atmika, Adi Bhautika and Adi Daivika, isn't it? If you remember, miseries due to the devas. So therefore this person is in the ocean, he's being tossed by the three modes, and the ocean is very cold and he's very thirsty. There's no everywhere salt water, he cannot drink it, and the hot sun is blazing upon him. So this is Adi Daivika. And then this soul is in the ocean, and then we have this kind of sharks and all, they come and bite the person. So this is Adi Bhautika, miseries due to other living entities. And then at the same time, when he's so worried in his mind, will I ever be saved? What's happening? Oh, he cannot see the shark. He's worried, when will the shark come and bite me? And then it's when it's nighttime, it becomes dark, and then he's wondering what was going to happen. Will I go and knock myself in some rock? When will the storm come? Now everything is peaceful. When the storm comes, what's going to happen? So he's always worrying, fear. So therefore, when the Guru comes, he will give this person, Bhagavad Gita 4:36, jnana. This jnana is transcendental knowledge, and this jnana is described as plave naiva. Plave naiva means boat. So this boat of transcendental knowledge is given to this person who is drowning in this ocean. So then this person can climb onto this boat and he is saved temporarily, right, from the shark. And at least he's able to not, and in the boat, food is there, everything is there, and blanket is there. So he's protected somewhat from this material ocean. Depends on to what level he understands this transcendental knowledge, right? And then it says in the same verse, it continues, what will this boat be used for? This boat will be used by this person to cross this ocean of material misery. Vrijinam santarisyasi. This Vrijinam santarisyasi means, literally Vrijinam means ocean, santarisyasi means to cross, to completely cross over. So that is the purpose of transcendental knowledge, to completely cross over. How does it work? Now I told you, this thing in the center here, this is the soul. Now, why is this soul suffering in this material world? Because he has icha. Icha means desire. He has desires and he has aversion, dvesha. He has desire and he has aversion. So these two things has caused him to fall down into this material world so that he can pursue his desires. Because in the spiritual world is different, that the consciousness is different. What is the consciousness of the spiritual world? We will hear about it later chapters. But in the material world, as long as we have these desires and aversion, we will take life after life, birth after birth, and we are covered by illusion, moha. And on top of that, we are disturbed by these three modes of nature. which is giving us specific types of body and specific type of mind, right? So then when the Guru gives us knowledge, right, he puts us on this boat. This knowledge is called Divya Jnana, transcendental knowledge of how to escape from this material ocean, right? So what he does, he tells us to also, he also gives us instruction. He gives the person instruction. And this instruction is like the sadhana. Sadhana means our daily activities, which is conducive for our spiritual activity. What are the daily activities? For example, waking up early, doing prayers this is things which we do every day, right? Waking up early during Mangala Arati, right? Brahma Muhurta time, very early in the morning, taking cold water bath to purify our consciousness, and then performing prayers, doing arati, chanting Hare. Most importantly, the sadhana, which is the Yuga Dharma for this age, is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? Which we mentioned before already. So every day we should do that. We should chant with our, that is our sadhana. So by doing this sadhana every day, slowly the mode of ignorance gets removed. You can see the tamaguna is no longer gone. And then the mode of passion also gets removed from our being. And then the mode of goodness also, we come to the mode of goodness. And then from there, slowly we become liberated. So from there, moha is gone. So this process I will explain in detail again in later chapter. In chapter 12, I will explain this process again in detail. So this is what this transcendental knowledge will help us. Okay, so we are going to be done soon, taking a bit more extra time. Let me just see. Okay, very quickly. So this verse, then Krishna says, having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, right? And how do we get this knowledge? We have to serve that person with humility, right? Then we will get self-realized soul knowledge. So what it will do? Krishna is saying, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see, what we will see? We will see that all living beings are but part and parcel of the Supreme. We will see that every living entity, we will learn to have the eyes of scripture, Veda Chakshur. Veda Chakshur means with the eyes of the Vedas, we can see everything for what actually it is. And that can come with knowledge. The more we understand things, we will learn to see how every living entity is part of God. They are simply being conditioned by the three modes of nature and by their karma, and therefore they are behaving in the way they are behaving. But actually, they are spirit soul. We are all struggling with our set of karma and our set of three modes of nature. So this is the understanding that it will come. So you can see here, and we can also understand that the Supreme Lord is also with us within our heart. There are two souls within our heart. We are one soul, and there is Paramatma, another soul, super soul, which is also there within our heart. So God is not very far away. So the first realization we will get is that every living being is a spirit soul, and they are all part of God. That's the first realization. Second realization is they will start to see God also in every living entity. They will see God is there with them. They will see God is with me, within my heart. They will see the same God with that person also, within his heart. They will see the same God also, so in every living entity. So therefore this verse, Ya nyatva na punar moham, evam yasyasi pandava, yena bhutani aseshani, drakshyashi atmani atomai. Having obtained real knowledge from self-realized soul, we will see all living beings. You can see this picture. The person will see the same Paramatma is also within every other living entity, together with the Atma. So it doesn't mean that we are God or everybody is God or every living entity is God. That doesn't make sense, right? It means that all these living entities are Atma, and together with the Atma, that's the Paramatma. And God is with us. God is with him. God is with her. God is with that animal. God is in every atom. What to speak of living entities? Paramatma is also there in every atom. We will hear about this in later chapters. And Krishna says, they are mine. All of them belong, they are part and parcel of me, and they are mine. I am their father, right? So purified intelligence and eyes to see. Okay, so we don't have time to, this is basically the final conclusion which I wanted to clarify, but I think I will do this tomorrow. We have already talked quite amount of things today. So in this way, we have completed chapter 4. At least we have taken the important points of chapter 4. I will go through the conclusion here tomorrow, okay, so that we can digest what we have discussed today. And tomorrow I'll put everything again in perspective in the beginning before we go to the next chapter. Okay, so this is the takeaway for what we understand today. Importance of parampara, that was discussed. How knowledge has to, because we don't want deviated knowledge from people. Nowadays we have all kinds of people saying all kinds of things, so it has to come properly from the authorized source, right? So importance of parampara is stressed. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, the goal of knowledge, the ultimate. So Krishna establishes here, before you hear more and more about other things, understand first the goal of knowledge, and that is to understand that, you know, that famous verse, that Phalan verse, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, I can't remember now. So basically it means one who knows that my birth and my activities are transcendental, Punarjanma. So he will not take birth again. Instead, he will attain my supreme abode. So that is the goal of knowledge. We establish that. And then we understand work is better, that work in jnana is better. One should do our work, but even better is if we have higher knowledge. So our karma yoga should lead to jnana yoga eventually. It should lead to higher understanding. And we stress the need for a guru, right? How the guru's role is to give us that transcendental knowledge, and in this way establish us in free from the, eventually it will free us from the three gunas. And we heard also about how Krishna gave one aspect of knowledge about varnashram. So this is one of the basic things we need to know as we go on to higher chapters. And finally, how somebody who has this transcendental knowledge can be free from illusion, and he can see things for really what they are. So that is the point and the purpose of this chapter, chapter 4. Okay, so we are done. Sorry to take so much of time. Certificates. Okay, please remember, the quiz is important because it will capture your attendance. So if the attendance is not there, then your name might not be called in the final graduation ceremony. So I would want all of you to be there. So please try the quiz. Not many people are doing the quiz. We only have 20 people yesterday. And remember, this is group 2, right? So that's important. You may be doing it, but it might be going to another group. So remember to put group 2. So right, so now we have questions. Any questions from anybody?
Prabhu, there's one question I put in chat regarding the 4 sampradayas. Can you just read what are the 4 sampradayas? Thank you.
Okay, there is the Brahma, there's the Brahma Madhava Sampradaya. That means this Sampradaya is coming directly from Lord Brahma. Krishna instructs Lord Brahma. And then from Brahma, it comes to, after many, then it comes to Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya appeared about 1000 plus years ago. The Sampradaya is still going on. And from the Brahma Madhava Sampradaya, our Sampradaya is coming. So Brahma, we call ourselves the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya. Gaudiya under Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's one Sampradaya. Another bona fide Sampradaya is the Shri Sampradaya. Shri Ramanuja Sampradaya. So Shri means coming from Lakshmi Devi, and then from her, the main guru which is recognized now is Ramanujacharya. So he is also, from there it comes, you know, the Sri Rangam and all that. And then the third Sampradaya is Kumara Nimbarka Sampradaya. That means this is coming from the Sanat Kumara, the four Kumaras. These are the sons of Brahma. The four Kumaras, they are, they look like children. You might have seen it later. One day we will show the picture. The four children like Sanat Kumaras, these are the sons of Brahma. And from there it comes, and the most recent, in the last, within Kali Yuga at least, the famous guru is Nimbarka Acharya. Nimbarka Acharya, and also I forgot the other Acharya's name. So anyway, that's three. And the fourth Sampradaya is Rudra Sampradaya. So this is coming directly from Lord Shiva. And from Lord Shiva, the main Acharya in Kali Yuga is Vishnu Swami. So these four Sampradayas are still happening, are still going on. And any knowledge you receive from these four Sampradayas will always give you the same conclusions. So yeah, these are the four Sampradayas, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I can try to get the verse from the Vedas which mention these four Sampradayas. I will send it in the WhatsApp.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other questions? So there's nothing else in the chat also. Okay, so no problem. If there are no questions, you have a lot to swallow today. Probably a lot of information was given. So yes, Janavi Mataji, you have a question. Your hand is raised.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can I see the screen that you showed about the parambaras? The list of parambaras.
Oh, okay.
You had.
I will send it to you in PDF, Mataji. You can see it also.
No, I just wanted to ask some question on that particular screen.
All right, let me just quickly scroll through the screen. Meanwhile, anybody else has any other question while I look for the... Okay, I found it. Okay, so
yes,
this is
the one. So, Prabhu, this one, you are telling that these are the parambaras where the knowledge were transferred, is it?
Yes, this is based on the Brahma Madhava Sampradaya, our Sampradaya.
Based on Brahma Madhava Sampradaya.
Yes.
Oh, from Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa. But then in just now in 4.1, the knowledge Krishna was telling, Krishna to sun god to Vivashwan, and then to Manu to Ishwaku. It's not there?
Yeah, this was previously, right? So where is that verse? Okay. So here, yeah, this is there. He instructed to sun god also, and then but sun god is more recent. So Brahma is even more senior to the Vivaswan. So before Vivaswan was there, Brahma was there. So therefore, in the beginning of creation, the entire material creation itself, so this knowledge was given to Lord Brahma. And then that sampradaya is still going on. So then later, he gave this knowledge again to Vivaswan, but then that sampradaya got broken. So that's why again he started the Bhagavad Gita, and then he gave that knowledge.
I see. It's a little confusing anyway, because this Vivaswan, and Ishwaku, these are all who actually sun god, is it?
This Vivaswan is the person who is currently the sun god. Now, in one life, first we have to understand that the life of Brahma is different compared to the life of all the other devas. It's said later in the next chapter, I think, they will talk about the lifetime of Brahma. One life, the devas actually live for many, many thousands of... Okay, we know about one yuga. We have Kali and all that. So one yuga, we have 4 yugas. And in this one cycle of 4 yugas, like that, about a few cycles of them is the lifetime of the devas. But the lifetime of Brahma is many, many thousands. It's 1,000 times, many times. So actually Brahma lives for a very, 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 very long time. And throughout his life, he will see that the Indra and the Vivaswan and all of those, every day they are changed. So therefore, Brahma is actually even before Vivaswan. So this is the sampradaya that comes directly from Brahma. So Vivaswan sampradaya, this one was already broken. So that's the point I'm saying here, Mataji.
Okay, all right. Anyway, thank you very much for the explanation.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Janavi Mataji, finish your question.
So, Prabhu, you were telling that this Sampradaya Madhava, say it again, what Sampradaya is this? Ours is?
Brahma Madhava Gaudiya.
Brahma Madhava Sampradaya. So
yes.
That has got nothing to do with the sun god, is it?
No.
No, nothing to do.
No.
No, it is not coming under the sun god.
The sun god, yeah, it's a different one. It's a different sampradaya. It was already broken.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, another question.
Prabhu, just want to ask you regarding sampradaya. I just want to understand myself. Is sampradaya called something like imparting knowledge?
Sampradaya means parampara. Sampradaya means parampara. You know, the Tamil also we have this word parampara. So it's basically coming from a parampara which is unbroken, an unbroken line of guru and spiritual masters going all the way directly back to the Supreme Lord. So this is the meaning of sampradaya. And knowledge
so
is... Yes.
So you were saying about the Rudra Sampradaya is the fourth Sampradaya, right?
Yes.
So what is that actually? How it works?
So same thing. Basically, these four sampradayas, they talk about the Supreme Lord as Vishnu or Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what happens is there are some differences. So Lakshmi in the Sri Sampradaya, for example, they see Vishnu as the Supreme, whereas in the Brahma Madhava Sampradaya, we see Krishna as the Supreme. And then like that, so it comes. But what has happened is within these four sampradayas, they were progressively there to give the knowledge. But when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, he actually united these four sampradayas. And these four sampradayas were all united. And then the knowledge came from there, it continues. So therefore, we are Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya. Gaudiya referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is the idea behind this. So Rudra Sampradaya is actually coming from Lord Shiva. Our Vaishnava understanding about the position of Lord Shiva is Lord Shiva is actually Vishnu transformed. So it's like the Acharyas give the example of milk and yogurt. So Vishnu is like milk and Lord Shiva is like yogurt. So what's the difference? So basically when milk is, it has the certain bacteria and then it transforms into yogurt, isn't it? So for the purpose of creation, Lord Vishnu doesn't directly associate with matter. Like here Krishna says, right, I'm beyond the three modes of nature. So therefore, for the purpose of creation, he glances upon material nature, Prakriti, and then that glance is actually, he transforms into Lord Shiva. And in that way, he associates with Maya Devi. And in that way, they become the father and mother of the material universe. So in our understanding, Lord Shiva is not, is like Vishnu, but he's not Vishnu. He's very, very powerful. He's exactly just like Vishnu. He has almost every quality of Vishnu. But because he has accepted the three modes of nature by his own sweet will, he is a separate expansion of Vishnu in that sense. So that is the Vaishnava understanding. So all these four sampradayas, which I'm talking about, they will accept this. And it is also mentioned, Vaishnavanam yata shambhu. So there are many, many places in many, many verses, which it will say, the best amongst all Vaishnavas, therefore, is Lord Shiva himself. So this is the understanding that we have in our sampradaya.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so anything else? Tamaso ma sadgamaya. There is no tamaso ma. Tamas means basically mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance is tamas, tamoguna. Okay, so if there's no other questions, so I think we can end. If you have further questions, if there's anything which you are doubtful, if you need more clarification, or if you need me to produce some scriptural references, I can try to help you with that. So just bear with us, as I said. You will hear later on many other places where this kind of knowledge is revealed. So this is just chapter 4. We will go to chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7. I'm just basically repeating whatever the Gita is saying. So you can make your own conclusions at the end after we hear the entire 18 chapters. Okay, so thank you very much. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.